I got to tell you something. I've been in an evacuation, and I did evacuate in the face of a hurricane. And it is scary in the middle of an evacuation. But then there are always those people, Mike Brooks, that no matter what the government says, they won't evacuate. They want to, quote, ride it out. That's, you know, crazy. But what do you have to say to Salantic about not forcing an evacuation, Mike?
Well, you know, you can ask people to leave, Nancy. They don't have to leave, you know, because they don't have enough time to arrest all the people that are not going to leave. What I would tell people if they said, oh, well, no, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to shelter in place. I said, okay, well, make sure you take a Sharpie or a magic marker and write your Social Security number across your forehead so we can identify you when we come back and find you.
We are taking your calls out to Karen in Indiana. Hi, Karen. What's your question, dear?
Yes. With a mandatory evacuation being ordered, why didn't people take it serious? And why is it that people do not comply? And they risk the lives of not only their families, but of others. And I find that very disturbing.
I do, Karen. When I was told to evacuate, I picked my things up and I left, and I don't understand why people don't heed that. Out to you, Rita Cosby. What's the status right now with the evacuations?
Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting, Nancy. A lot of people don't. They think, okay, it's not going to be that bad. But on this particular case, Nancy, my goodness, it was all over the news. And there have been evacuations in about 10, 12 states at this point. I had to evacuate myself just a few hours ago from our place. I mean, literally, that crane is dangling right in front of us that you've been looking at, and we've been showing these pictures. The other thing, too, I want to also tell you, Nancy, that crane, as we're looking at the pictures here, it is that part that's hanging, that's the arm of the crane, it is 900 feet above ground. That part alone is 9 stories and weighs several tons, that little piece, that arm. And they are very worried. As you can see with the high winds, they believe that part is probably going to fall. The question is, will it fall into the street where the streets are blocked off in that area where hopefully nobody is hurt and hopefully there'll be not much significant damage, or will it fall into another high-rise building, because there's a lot in that area and Carnegie Hall is just across the way.
Ellie, it nearly broke my heart when I learned that Lady Liberty is dark, but now LaGuardia is flooded.
Right, Nancy, we were hearing reports about water on the runways at JFK. Now we're hearing same problem at LaGuardia. That, too, also, you know, right there on the water line. Also hearing reports that Washington Street, that is on the west side of Lower Manhattan, that street also flooded. They're urging people to get to higher ground right now. And just coming in, you know, we're hearing scattered reports of power outages in Lower Manhattan, but even further north, as far north as Gramercy, which is just there south of Midtown. So it looks like there's kind of a, you know, scattered power outages starting in the whole tri-state area.
Joining me right now is Mark Dennard. Mark Dennard is refusing to evacuate. He's joining me from Ocean City. Mark, explain to me, why no evacuation?
Well, Nancy, watching your show the last 15 seconds of it, you're making me be a little crazy. I tend to disagree about 100%. I'm just here trying to protect my family and my property and a bunch of my neighbors' property.
Well, explain to me what's happening around you right now. Everybody, Mark is joining me there in the middle of the storm, Atlantic City. Well, excuse me, Ocean City. Tell me what's outside.
It's very, very nasty. It looks, I'm 15 feet away from a boiling cauldron of water. It's like a volcano, and I feel extremely safe.
Okay, I'm afraid we've lost him, and I'm concerned about why. Liz, let me know when you get Mark Dennard back. He is riding out Superstorm Sandy with his family there in Ocean City, and he referred to it as like a boiling cauldron of water.